All right, hello, everyone. Welcome to the main meeting of the Athens In Motion Commission. Thanks for your patience while we started because we just had to suddenly change location because upstairs being painted, which is awesome. Time for those summer projects, whether they're on the roof or in your conference room, get them done. All right, I will share my screen. Okay, so we'll start off with roll call. I'm here. Art.
Here.
Teresa.
Here.
Randy.
Here.
Alan.
Here.
Ed. Yeah. Julie.
Here.
Oh,
She's remote. Craig. And Blaine.
here.
You got a chance to sign in?
Blaine was here, I think. Did I hear it here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, thank
There we
you.
go.
I just
Great.
switched.
Can't hear you. There he is.
That's her.
Wonderful. Okay, so quorum means we need 6 out of 9 people present in the room. So we don't have quorum today, but that's okay because we have things to talk about and no big decisions will be made. It just means we're not approving agenda, we're not approving our minutes, we're not taking any other votes today, which is okay. All right, so I guess I will come back to our April minutes for next month and we can actually vote on them. And we won't vote on the agenda. I'm just going to roll with it. Unless there was anything else y'all wanted to talk about.
Anything to add to the draft agenda?
Yes, the draft agenda. Today we are going to, I want to talk about a possible future campaign. We will get an update from Daniel about plan revision. Chief Gloss is coming up. This is where we're going to spend most of our time. It's very exciting. And then we'll get general updates from staff and committee organization report back here, how the Marigold Festival went, etc. That allows us to move right along. All right, moving into our major item, future campaign. So I wanted to get a temperature check on this. We have like communication and outreach. This is part of our charge. We have over the past couple of years of Athens In Motion establishment mainly focused on policy projects, approving things, recommendations, things like that. But there's an outreach charge to this. We've done a lot of tabling over the years, talked with commissioners and the public, come along with transportation public works events, things like that. But I'd love if we had some kind of concerted effort, a campaign of sort. These are things we've kind of hinted at, played with. And so I want, maybe it could be a media thing, maybe it's a concerted effort that our tabling is based around, like if you come up with a particular goal, and that can be something promoting, amplifying safe biking, walking, micro-mobility. I was in Columbia and West Columbia, South Carolina this weekend, and I came across a flyer just on one of their billboards at the end of a greenway, and they had all these bike month events. Mm-hmm. And now, like in the past, Bike Athens has done some things before they had this, before they had to move their shop and everything. So this doesn't have to be Athens In Motion kills themselves every weekend in May doing all these events. It could be pulling together what other groups have already going on. Like Bike Athens has their Fix Your Own Bike Night. There's always a joyride. I know that Leisure Services is doing another introduction to mountain biking ride. The Hub has things going on. We could help people find a commute, something like that. That could be like for next year. So I wanted to open the table and just chat about that and see if there's an interest in assigning that to education and communications to start chatting about more. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I love the idea of this. I think that, yeah, having kind of more of a focus would be super beneficial. I know we'll get to like Marigold later on, but I do think if there was some kind of, you know, focus for each event that we're at and we're kind of harping on the same message and providing people with the same resources, I do think that that would be really beneficial. Um, yeah, instead of having to, kind of create something for different events, having that focus, and that's what we're all navigating conversations with folks around and kind of pushing, I think would be really, really helpful and make it a little bit easier for us when we are planning events. Yeah, those are just my thoughts.
Well, I like it. I mean, I have felt since my first meeting, which was a long time ago now, that, we needed to come up with some sort of, um, messaging and just outreach structure. I mean, we've got our templates, we've got we've got the communication strategy. So we've got some methodology in place, but I'd really like to just sort of see us put some things on the calendar and have a set of materials, either digital or whatever, that we can pull out for different types of events.
Yeah, I think too
One
it
of-
would be. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
One of the things I think might be interesting is that we've got the kind of the map of the current places where there are bike lanes and sidewalks, and just as like the transit has events and people come up and they say, where do you live? Where are you trying to get to? And they help them navigate transit. And we could not only do that for transit, but where are the safe bike lanes? Where are the safe sidewalks to get from A to B? And if there aren't, what they can do to like talk to the right people to encourage those things.
Right, and depending on where we are in the plan revision process, we may be able at that point to pull up.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
something that's coming
Mhm.
X number of years down the road.
So could you expand a little bit, Lauren, on this? I think you said design your commute, or how'd you phrase it?
Help people find a commute.
I love that idea. I don't know if it's something that we should do individually as volunteers. I'd be happy to talk to people. I guess what I'm realizing that at the tabling events that I've participated in, the most interesting parts of it have been one-on-one conversations with people who are, find out where they're riding from or walking around from, and offer suggestions about better route or a good route or whatever, hear what they're doing, and be nice to, I mean, if I was new to Athens and I wanted to know how to get from point A to point B, then having a resource that somebody would be willing to help walk you through it or guide you through it.
Yeah, and have that specifically displayed at our booth so that people are going, oh, I can ask. And not
Yes,
just if
yes.
they happen to, oh, they're involved with bicycles, I'll ask them.
Okay,
Yeah.
and
We've got a cool map for it.
I want to come back to
Yeah.
my very favorite idea topic, which is our website, which, we've talked about in the past, but, we haven't really, done anything with it. I mean, we've done a few little things that make it more useful, but I think it could be really great. And it could also be done at the same time that we're doing the plan revision, because a lot of the information that we're putting into the plan revision could be also online in a web page.
Yeah, I'm curious. Scott, are you there? Scott, have Bike Athens, do you also have like a beginner's bike resource page on your website that you kind of point people to? For people who are new? Biking?
I don't think we have it sort of set up that way, and it's been a while since we've made any actual good content changes to our website. We usually find that most of that sort of stuff is easier in person when someone walks in to fix your own bike and starts telling me about they just moved here and they don't know how to get around. And then we're like, oh, well, let's go look at this map. And usually it's the Greenway map, and we show people how to commute around, that sort of thing. But I don't have like a
Okay.
1, 2, 3, here's how to get started in biking.
Okay, good to know. It's good to know like what's out there. The way I got started biking in Athens is on the really old Bike Athens website, they had some video guides of how to navigate certain dangerous or certain intersections and situations, and I found those pretty helpful. Now we don't have to, do a whole new video campaign or something like that, but in addition to maybe there could be a page, maybe it's just an assimilation of links, maybe we host it, or maybe.
A lot of this material is also found in our monthly How to Bike Athens class. We talk about, the basics, the rules of the road, how to navigate certain kinds of intersections, put a little context of using real world examples of in Athens. Those classes, I've recorded several of them. I'd have to go back and see how good they are. I know one of them, there was no audience at all. I was recording it for somebody else just to have, it might be nice to break that class up into each section and then post those videos. That way you can just go to the section you want. And then if you're enjoying it, maybe watch the rest of them.
That's a great idea. I'd love that. Yeah, especially, taking advantage of what's already there. And then still, I think these one-on-one interactions really empower people.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, if we reach 10 people a year collectively, I mean, that would really make a difference. I think eventually if it was 20 or 100, that would even be a bigger difference.
And hopefully then they're talking to their friends and
Right.
then, but it would be good even after those conversations to be able to say, but you can also at any time go here and find that information.
Yeah, I'd love, like, to your point, a page or something somewhere that's like, okay, cool. Because what questions do we get at tables? People are like, oh, I have this old bike, but I don't know. And we're like, fix your own bike night. Oh, yeah, that happens, And then let's maybe write down Scott's number for you.
Most of the questions we get are really more related to people who say, wow, that's really great, this is happening, so where is it going to be, when's it going to happen? And, because we don't have a lot of projects out there yet, other than the Greenway, which is looking mighty good these days, but
Well, the nice thing about the Greenway and Firefly Trail is that it really is starting to connect with so many places in town. I mean, I rarely do anything that's just on those, but almost every day I'm on it 2 or 3 times, so.
right.
Yeah. Okay, so
A question that I hate to even bring up, because I just don't like thinking this way. If it was just me talking to some, a new student in town or something that comes up to me, I'll tell them whatever, like, oh, try this and don't try this. But if it's us as Athens In Motion Commission, do we have to worry about like liability or implied, like seal of approval or something with,
I kind of wonder that too, like what that falls under, like if we say,
question?
bike Prince Avenue, and then, something happens on the state-owned side of Prince, or, they get sideswiped.
Or even somebody picks them off in the bike lane. I mean, things happen. It's.
I was gonna ask Scott how he handles the group ride, the joyride. I know I hate thinking that, but we live in a litigious society.
Oh, we sure are.
Scott, do y'all make people like sign waivers and stuff for your group rides?
No.
We don't. And talking to the insurance company, I go through a seminar every year when we buy our insurance that covers our rides, as well as the bike repairs that we give in here, and the classes that we teach. They would probably prefer if we had waivers, but I don't think actually in court they're that strong if something actually serious did happen. So we generally don't, but we do have insurance.
But the fact that you have insurance, that's something. I mean, that's better than a waiver.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have insurance for
The
us.
county does.
Yeah, you're covered under the county.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're okay. So if we say in our best faith effort to help someone get somewhere.
Like the Atlanta Highway.
Yeah.
So the question is,
Like what happens if someone, you know, following our advice gets sideswiped or, you know, gets hit? Wow.
Or if we tell them, you know, the Firefly
Well-
Trail doesn't connect out to Winterville yet, just take Athens Road
Yeah.
and Spring Valley.
Or they're
I follow
crossing
this
at the
direction.
Waffle House where they're doing all that construction right now. Or how about this? They get run into at Mama's Boy if the pedestrian leave in or roll doesn't work anymore. Sorry, Daniel. I told them about that this morning. Are we in trouble?
I'll let you know.
Okay. I think we're in trouble as long as we're not telling people to do something that's against the law or the ordinances,
Well, that, yeah.
or just dangerous and irresponsible.
Well, a
You
lot
know.
of people consider the fact that we bike on the road dangerous and irresponsible.
But you're allowed on the road.
We are.
It's,
Yeah.
you know, you have the legal right to be there.
Mhm.
And you,
I think if you get hit following Google Maps when you're driving down the road, you can't sue Google Maps because some other driver hit you.
I mean, even like, we have bike lanes that start and stop, and we're not liable for crashes.
Right.
So now if there was, so like the instance that I know of is like, let's say there's a pothole in a bike lane and a bicyclist hits it. If that has been reported to us before, then we are liable for that crash. So whenever we get a pothole report, it's usually fixed within 24 hours because of that.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily, it even could be like, well, we heard about it on this day and we have it programmed for this time for replacement this afternoon, and the crash happened like right beforehand. So no, we're still not liable because we have it on a plan to update.
Okay, we'll come back to that, but okay, the TLDR is, I would love for us to have some kind of campaign or strategy, and maybe the first step of that is getting together a page or list of links, or, you know, reaching out to our partners in the community to see what they have available and how we can amplify or support that, or not reinvent the
I mean,
bike
just
wheel.
like a little bulletin board kind of thing, like go to Bike Athens for this and go to Hub Bike for that, and, you know, the Greenway website for something else, or, you know,
Mhm.
just pointing people in the
Yeah.
direction.
Here's your basic bike law guide from Governor's Office of Highway Safety. Come to a bike shop, talk to somebody. And I would really love if this time next year we had something in celebration of National Bike Month.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just pulling together things that are already happening in the community. And I'd love for our tabling and outreach to focus around that. And if a month is too much, I think there's National Bike Week and Bike to Work Day. And
I would
maybe
say
some of
the League of American Bicyclists will send out what they're sending to everyone across the country for the social media. They've already got a campaign built. You can just add it to the Athens In Motion page. It's really easy.
Great, thank you, Scott. We should just be able to
Yeah,
do
I think-
something. Go ahead.
I think something that would be cool too that I was thinking about is almost having like a calendar of events that we can share with folks. I think, you know, yeah, different events that are going on around the community, but also if we're able to, talking about mayor and commission meetings that are coming up where there are votes taking place that really do impact, you know, our work towards a more active transportation network within our community. Like, I think that could be cool. I don't know though, is that something that we're allowed to do? Like encourage folks to participate in those meetings or just kind of make them aware?
We on the Athens Convention
Cool.
Commission, that's part of our charge, I would say. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I think like a calendar of events would be really cool just to get folks aware of, you know, upcoming meetings where there are these votes taking place and kind of what they can do if they are interested in supporting some projects that might be going on.
Yeah.
Would that also include like if the hub is having a ride and things such as that?
I think all this will depend on where it's hosted. If we have this on ACC Gov and we're able to go through the training and maintain it, that could be cool. Otherwise, it's gonna be a little hard. Cause yeah, I don't know if staff can take this on. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
these are great ideas. Maybe, come to education and communications and we'll hash this out some more. If that sounds good to you.
One other
Yeah, we're
topic
meeting
that
tomorrow.
I've mentioned briefly in the past, I'll just throw it out there for the record, is, I think it would be so nice to sort of see a signage kind of thing around town that with, I don't know how to do these things, but, you know, messages like, you know, I don't know what messages, but just bicycle friendly, pedestrian friendly messages around
Yeah.
town
Mm-hmm.
to get drivers used to seeing the fact that there are actually alternatives going on.
Mhm.
At
Yeah.
the intersection of where 441 turns into Timothy, there's a great sign that says bicycle friendly community.
Yeah,
Well, there are a few of those.
I
yeah.
giggle every time I see it.
I know.
I would, I'm with you there. I would love if some part of this campaign did include a visual element that helps people feel validated. I think I told Dallas, I was talking to some colleagues who live in Portland where they have a lot of great infrastructure, but the communication and outreach has gone down and they don't really feel as safe as they used to because of the presence of drivers are not leaving them enough space. So it's something that we can do, and it's really important. It's as important as infrastructure. So
Right. Well, you know, we've talked about billboards before. I mean, you know, yeah, it costs money, but
right.
Or
you
even
put a price on
roadsides,
life, you know, to
give them
save
some
some life.
space or
Yeah,
something like
just
that.
some simple message like that in a couple of strategic locations,
Yeah.
you know.
I
I
think,
would love to wear the like the where we get our license plates. Like people could pick up a flyer, drivers. Or could we like put a message there as you're waiting in line? Just trying to
Oh,
think
at the DMV.
TDS or
Yeah.
tag office. License plate would be tag office, not DMV. or
Yeah,
DMV.
but you only do that one time because then you just renew online or by mail.
That's true.
Some people still renew in person.
Mhm.
I'm just
So
trying to
that's a
think.
good point. Like where,
Save that $3 online filing fee.
But I
There's
mean,
ways to reach drivers.
Yeah,
is that a local government office or is that a state office?
the state office.
So I think that would be a good idea for Georgia Bikes to
Hmm.
push if that needed to be their campaign. But if it's a state, I need to double check. But if that's a state office, then we can't really. They would be required to get approval, probably
Yeah.
from their higher ups.
Going more in that direction
was-
of advocacy, I think where Julie was going, I'd love to see more communication about like the the benefits to the public of having a safe biking walking network. Helping people who do show up to these mayor and commission meetings know what to say. What good infrastructure looks like. I saw this great route in Chattanooga or Charlotte, kind of going in that direction a little bit. My addition to the list of potential campaign topics, the environmental benefits, the economic benefits, the equity arguments.
right. Yes, these would be great to pull from. And maybe, we kind of take it for granted. You get kind of an echo chamber around people who also believe that there should be safe walking and biking infrastructure. So there's a lot that is 101 level that we can just reiterate, underscore, amplify too. Yeah, okay.
Well, one more thing, and maybe it's because like, when you get a car, you then start seeing everybody else on the road has that same car. And you wasn't as uncommon as you thought. But I've noticed, to me, it looks like there are about as many e-bikes on the road these days as there are regular bikes. And they've all been there for less than 2 years. And I don't know that any of those people have had any training in what an e-bike is on the road. They think since they can go 20 to 28 miles an hour, that they're new, and many of them are over 50, and maybe that's a reach out or outreach type of a thing.
Well, that little force field button around you.
Yeah, Yeah.
I'm safe. Yeah, that's a great point. There's a lot of people who are new on the road, and it's not just like college students or
Right.
something who think of bikes as toys. It's opened a lot of doors, like e-bikes have, and also other forms of micromobility. And so there is I think, a education component that is needed that can't be overstated.
Yeah, scooters are a little bit of a comeback.
Yep.
Definitely.
Huge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna move this
I was just gonna
along.
mention the liability thing. I like honestly, like we'll check with our attorney's office, but like if someone asked us driving directions to get somewhere, like, and you told them you turn right at the street and they did that and they got hit, they're not liable.
Well, it's a private citizen, but
Yeah.
if they ask Athens In Motion Commission,
Well, if they ask
Or
me,
good-
I mean, as the
Yeah.
bike ped coordinator,
Yeah.
where are bike lanes, or like how would I drive to Publix? And I said, you take Barnett Shoals Road, and then they got in a crash, I couldn't be sued because I told them to drive on Barnett Shoals Road. I would imagine that, like, to a certain extent, even though we live in a litigious culture, like not everything, like you can sue someone for anything, but whether or not it makes it to court is different.
Mhm.
And even if, I mean, I guess the real question here isn't necessarily like what's in the specifics of it, but if Athens In Motion were sued for something, what would it be? Or not even what would it be, but what would that look like? And I think because you are a BAC of Athens-Clarke County Unified Government, our attorney's office would represent it. You're not, I'll get details on that, but yeah, I don't know that that's,
Right.
as far as I know, I mean, I haven't, did y'all sign a contract?
No.
I don't
I didn't.
remember
Y'all got sworn in.
But I mean, we got a letter that appointed us, we had to go through an application process, so
Yeah.
we're not doing this just as private citizens, we've
Yeah.
been, we've been out to serve the.
Appointed by the mayor, yeah.
And we don't want to get the county in trouble.
No.
Unless it's good trouble.
Right. You'll have to define good.
Yeah. All right, so next up is a plan revision update for, Timna.
So I was just texting with Jared at Tool Design Group. We should be getting a scope tomorrow, for that process to get started. Basically, we'll have the scope and then we'll need to get that approved. We're gonna be using T-Splosh fund to pay for it. I think we're looking at a scope of around $90,000. And, yeah, and it's gonna be on-call consultant. So once we have in notice to proceed for that, like we'll have the scope, we'll make a contract, we'll get going on it, and then hopefully this summer we can start with like a kickoff meeting with the AIM Commission. And we can do kind of that workshop that we've been talking about wanting to do. They were slammed with a lot of debt, like their firm has been helping people with applications for Safe Streets for All. So they've been slammed with those projects, but there's like 3 deadlines, and I think second one just passed, and so they have some time now. But that's the plan there for the Athens In Motion plan revision.
Cool.
And but what I do have is kind of a map of the current tier project, if that is where we want to shift into, or is that all that was on the agenda for that particular update?
Say that again?
Is there did you want to look at the Athens In Motion tier project list that like on the screen
For the
Sure.
plan revision or for the next update?
for this current edition, 2018?
Oh, you mean for the, okay, you don't mean T-Splosh, you mean,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, you can spend that, yeah, look at that.
So this map looks funny. Well, that'll work. All right, so the blue lines are tier 1 bicycle, the green lines are tier 2 bicycle, the orange are tier 3. So you can see like those are the tier 1 bike projects. Now the pedestrian tiers are black, gray, and lighter gray. So these are all of our tier 1 projects as it currently stands in our current project. So you can see Barber Street is one of our tier 1 projects. And then Hancock was one of our tier 1 projects that is installed. This section of Prince Avenue, this section of Prince Avenue is a tier 1 project that was installed. So just to give y'all a context of like kind of where we're at, we also have College Avenue, which had partial bike lanes installed as part of the repaving. It kind of switches between Sharrow and bike lanes. Not great, but that when that was repaved, that was like the best that could be done at that time, I guess. You can also see, you know, ones that haven't happened: Baxter Street, Hawthorne. This is one that we have funded through that planning thing. So you can see kind of these are the points that have been getting started with. This is kind of where our project priority list comes from.
What more are they expecting to do with Baxter? Is protected? Because it's got bike lanes and sidewalks, and I assume it's.
There's a gap.
No?
I think like standard bike lanes would be
There's a gap
preferred.
between Millage and Rocket Spring.
There's
I ride that every day, all the time.
There's not a bike.
yeah, it's like a 2-foot. Yeah, that's not a bike lane.
Okay.
It technically stops and starts again. All of those areas too, there's like the drop inlet that basically what this would be is like widening the Baxter. Yeah, where the stormwater, not sewer.
Stormwater.
But yeah, stormwater drop inlet. The way that they added bike lanes was they paved up to the face of the curb. So there's a curb and gutter normally. It's like a 2-foot thing that goes on the outside of the pavement. And in order to make enough pavement to add bike lanes and the full width, like 12 feet and 13 feet turn lane, they paved up to the face. But in order to do that, it created, like, you can't just put grates in up here, like the facilities are down there. So it was the whole thing. But basically they were poorly made to begin with. They're not really up to current standard. I think it shows that as a proposed bike lane. So I don't think it's meant as a proposed buffered bike lane. I think the goal there would be to make it a 5-foot bike lane and a 2-foot gutter.
Okay.
And then even since then though, like we're gonna get a better idea of what the preferred facility types are. So when we look at that, when that project actually gets funded, I think the steps that we would go through is kind of using the designing for all ages and abilities. We would essentially try to look at the current volume, identify the target volume, look at the current speed, identify the target speed, and then make recommendations for the type of facility we'd like to see there based on those NACTO design standards. So, okay. But yeah, you can see, you know, there's plenty here that hasn't been done. You can see some of our projects that has, like, this is a pedestrian sidewalk project on Cherokee that was converted into a multi-use path. And I believe it was a tier 2 bike. You can also see Riverbend Road was a tier 2 bike, but a tier 1 pedestrian. And then Jefferson River Road was actually a tier 3 bike and a tier 1 sidewalk that got converted into a multi-use path. And the T-SPLOST 2018 funding for bikes was used as a split for all of these. So if you actually are identifying where has our bike dollars gone, they've been going towards expanding pedestrian projects into bike and pedestrian. So, you know, there's also some other projects that we have going on. So, are there any questions about this tiering and like these types of things?
Make the alert message go away.
Where is that? This one?
Yeah. We get the maximum screenage.
That's Athens in Motion.
Yeah.
Any roads that don't have these lines don't currently have Athens in Motion projects planned. That is a question that I've gotten a lot, which is like, where does Baldwin Street fall in the Athens in Motion plan? And if you zoom in on Baldwin Street, you'll see that it is not there. But William Street is a tier 1. So, and there was a development that added in bike lanes here. Driving through there, it looks like there may be 3 feet bike lane, including the gutter almost. Like, I don't know how they got away.
Development didn't add the bike lanes, they were already there.
They've repaved, they've added pavement and they built new curb. And the bike lanes are not the standard width that we would now recommend in our technical standards. So
Oh, they're just the same as they were before.
if that, I have concerns about it, but
Okay.
I don't know that there's anything we can do because it's been installed. But you know, I know that this section, where the rail trestle used to go over, that is a project that EGA is working on this section of roadway. So they're going to be adding bike lanes there, and it's going to be they're going to be better.
It is gonna be bike lane.
Yeah, I believe, I mean, nothing is set in stone, but what I've seen the concept for is separate, protected, like elevated cycle track. So separated and protected from vehicles.
Is it separate from the pedestrian?
Yes, but I mean, there's the way that those types of facilities are usually separated is with a detectable strip. So you can have like a textured brick pattern is a detectable strip in some ways. So it's kind of like one of those things where you might have the sidewalk and then you have like a strip and then the bike lane. And so can people wander from the sidewalk into the bike lane? Like they can, but the separated, it's something that kind of can happen really in any of these bike lanes. So, the other thing, so stop sharing for a second. All right. What was next on the agenda?
Next is this fun stuff. Yeah. Next on our agenda, surprise, it's time for T-Splosh. So our T-Splosh program, T-Splosh, I guess it was supposed to be T-Splosh 2023, is doing great on collections, prompting the Splosh office to notify mayor and commission that it's time to develop the next T-Splosh program. I think that they're still figuring out dates and things like that, but we have heard potentially the end of the year is when projects would be due from staff and
End of this year?
yeah.
It could be the fall, actually.
Could be sooner.
As soon as the fall, as late as December.
Wow, like imminently. Wow.
So, all right, if you're new to this process, you can talk to Alan, Teresa, myself, Scott, Katie, have all served on T-Splosh. This is the primary way that we get funding for our transportation infrastructure, and that includes bike ped projects. What we did with the last T-Splosh, what Athens in Motion did, is we submitted like 5 projects. Five projects.
Which got the green light.
Yes. So the approach that we took last time is to pull out 2 tier 1 projects that we felt like, okay, this is our role. That was Atlanta Highway in Lexington, which is basically US 78. And we did that because it was our job, and no one's gonna come forth and be like, cool, Atlanta Highway, let's do some facilities along there, even though it's badly needed. So we submitted 2 projects for that. And then we submitted potential projects for some smaller items like sidewalk gap, remedying ADA issues, so those are like the telephone poles. What else? What am I missing?
I'll have to go. I don't have my old computer, so I don't have my cheat sheet.
Atlanta Highway, Lexington Road,
ADA,
ADA improvement,
where's the sidewalk gap?
sidewalk, small sidewalk project.
And oh, the general bucket? It was a general bucket,
Big bucket.
the big bucket.
Big bucket, okay.
We call it big
That's-
bucket. It was big, but for everything else, for other things that were not listed, because we have more tier 1 projects than just Lexington Atlanta Highway. Yeah, so the way the process works is mayor and commission, the commissioners will pick, as far as, okay, I'm gonna put a big asterisk by this, and because I know that the mayor and commission and the SLOSS office are examining how things have been done in the past, and things may change. But the way it has worked in the past is the commission will pick 2 people from their district to serve on this advisory committee, and they will meet, who knows how many times. They will review all the projects that have been submitted. Last year was 92. We met 24 times. And then that committee will come up, they'll do a series of voting. They will come up with a potential list of projects. They will give a heads up to the mayor and commission. Ultimately, the mayor and commission will look at the list, make their tweaks, add some stuff that was cut out some things that were added in, send it back to the committee. There'll be like a final vote. And then the commission will finalize what they think the list will be. They'll work with the SLOSS office to make sure that the language is copacetic. And it goes before voters. The whole list. Thing you should know about this committee is they don't get to micromanage what projects get submitted. So for instance, when Greenway comes forward with a package of potential projects, the committee doesn't get to say, oh, we like MLK, but we don't want to do Cook's Trail. It's either yes to the whole slew of projects or no. And the one option that the submitters get is the potential to come back with an alternate version of the project that's at a lesser amount. And so the committee can say yes to that, yes or no to that one. So they don't get, like the way that we talk and we get in the weeds on this stuff here, like multi path, sidewalk, they don't get to do that. It's either yes or no. Yes or no. Now they can, when the project is initially presented, right, like we were able to give comments and say like, okay, here's what we like about it. And that helped inform their alternate project, but we couldn't ultimately tweak it or anything like that. Only the mayor and commission can do that. Right.
That was actually about the best description of that I could have come up with.
Thank you.
Now you know how the sausage is made.
Pretty darn
I
accurate.
think you may have mentioned it and I was not there for it, but the other thing to consider is that the projects can be any projects. They don't have to be from within the Athens In Motion plan. So even though we might have tier 1 lists, if someone applies for something that's a tier 3, that doesn't mean that it won't get funded. It's just, that is a piece of information that'll be a part of that application, ideally. I know last time, for instance, there was a question on the TSLOS thing that said, is this within the Greenway Network plan? I think this time I'm going to be aiming to get a question in there that says, is this part of the Athens In Motion plan? You know, people can basically accelerate their projects. You know, they could wait for the Athens In Motion funding to kind of prioritize it as a tier 1. But that's not necessarily the only way that we're building infrastructure. That's just how the Athens In Motion funding is designated. So
Thank you.
yeah, as those projects come in, if we start seeing all these like untiered or tier 3 projects getting proposals, that, you know, we're not necessarily gonna be like, hey, you can't do that. Like ultimately it's up to the commission to decide, if they wanna follow the tiering or
Mhm.
based on what the community wants.
There are people who will submit projects that are in the plan, that are Athens In Motion projects that are not from us, and that's great.
Well, I guess Athens In Motion should think about some things that we want to try and put forward.
Yes, so that brings us to the next part of this discussion, which is, Daniel's gonna show and give an update on the existing projects that are in the plan, not just the ones that we submitted. And then we want to start talking about, and we'll probably run out of time, but that's okay, but we can start talking about potential major projects, what direction we want to head, and then, and also like small programs continuation, which is something we're kicking off. So, yeah.
I have a question before we get started. Are there any projects that currently have funding that need more funding?
All of them.
Yeah, I know.
Here, Daniel, share the fun fact about what projects were, under budget. Not ours, but I mean, there's still a few slots.
Oh, there's some actually, yeah, like, so our bridge replacement over CSX, which is right here,
Uh-huh.
that came in under budget.
Okay. Wonder
I
how
don't
that
remember
happened.
exactly how much, but, Clayton Street came in under budget.
1.7 million.
Yeah,
under
1.7 million under budget.
So
So
it does happen.
it does happen. And then those kind of excess funds can be allocated towards other T-Plus projects within that particular program. So those being T-Plus 2018 projects, they can go towards other T-Plus 2018 projects.
Got it.
So
Okay.
at the end of that particular program, so we'll use SPLOST 2011 as an example. There is still some unspent funds out of SPLOST 2011. Those funds aren't going towards SPLOST 2020 projects. Those are going towards the final few 2011. So in order to close out that program, they have to spend all the money. And so sometimes, like, one of those buckets from 2011 is bike lanes. And we still haven't finished spending out 2011 funds. So like Barber Street has a section of it being the design section of the design is being paid for out of that 2011 funds. And you can actually see that on their SPLOST website. If you go to I did a deep dive into the SPLOST projects recently. And within those projects, it shows which ones are, where that money is going. So, yeah. So it does happen.
Good.
So since Atlanta Highway is going to be one that's most likely underfunded from the 2023, it also has 2018 money
Mhm.
that can go back into it. Or we can take from the other project and put back into it.
Yeah, we really haven't started anything from Atlanta Highway because GDOT is doing a bunch of stuff and a bunch of audits and evaluation and all that. And then there's the West Broad roundabout. So
Oh, yeah.
we don't even
Right.
know. But I mean, because these are state routes, they have a high potential for that collaboration anyway. So maybe we don't need to come up with additional money. Maybe it's just like, hey, look, we came up with money to begin with, y'all. Help us out. I don't know.
So this map is all of our existing facilities. Yeah. The green is Greenway, the orange is Firefly. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the funded layers so you can see that's phase 3.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna zoom in over here. Here's the conception. This is not an official alignment. This is like, it's a funded project and that was what was in the plan. But the way this project is actually written is it can be anything connecting multi-use path connectivity in this neighborhood. So that's actually, this sub project is within a different user group or East Athens projects in general. This project right here is funded by TAP, Transportation Alternative Program through GDOT, and currently it's in RFQ process, which is where you do a request for qualification, and then whoever the selected firm is will start to sign, and once they go through final steps of preliminary engineering, then TAP, then it's, I don't know that it's guaranteed, or it's like, we applied for construction funds and we were awarded preliminary engineering funds because they said that you have to follow this process first. So
Is the idea it's gonna be multi-use path or?
yes, it would be the final Greenway connection from
That'd be nice.
essentially
Yeah.
Dudley Park here.
Yeah.
To North Avenue.
No, that'd be a really good enhancement.
Beautiful.
So, and ultimately, there are some issues here. I believe the project ends up stopping short of this bridge. I think it will come up to this intersection, but because of this bridge replacement as a separate project, originally it was within Ray's 2024, 2022 Ray's North Avenue project, which you can see those right here. So, that purple line is North Avenue project, and that is underway, but, that'll handle the Greenway connectivity.
So the race goes that far?
Yes, it goes up to Collins Industrial.
I knew it did the top part. I didn't know it went all the way down.
So there's a couple caveats there. It does not include the bridge replacements. That's something that GDOT is working on. And we are working on modifying the scope to include realigning the interchange for the loop. So it's not guaranteed that it will do the interchanges, but ultimately, yes, the end of the scope of this project is there's a multi-use path up here that actually not being shown currently in our bike center line, which raises the red flag for me, but that's fine. I'm going to turn off bike center line now. So you get an idea of like what we're looking at. Now, projects, we've got let's see what this legend says, because it's been a minute since I put this together. So yeah, that's what I think. Okay, so I individually added these as projects. Ultimately, there's a color coding system. I'm going to turn off the funded leisure services and facilities. So this is transportation public works, minus that Beach Haven, but
Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure which layer that's in. So I believe all the blue projects are SPLOST, T-SPLOST, locally funded projects. The solid versus dashed line is the step that it's at. So there's like plans, you know, where we're in like concept or preliminary engineering phase, and then there's like this or the solid lines are the preliminary engineering, and the dashed lines are planned. So for instance, the ones that y'all are aware of, Riverbend Road, multi-use path, will end up looking like this. That section was phase 2 and it was not funded. Cherokee is right here. The plans are done.
Not funded though, is it?
It's not funded, but the PE plans are done. That was a special one. The blue basically means locally funded, whereas the purple is federally funded.
Okay.
And I'm not sure.
Well,
I think red is state, but
no, the purple part though, like for the dots, that's just in study at this point for Hawthorne and.
right.
Okay, that's not construction fund.
So these, yeah, this is not going to be. This is federally funded for a planning grant, and it actually includes this section too.
Okay. But that bodes well for getting construction fund.
Yeah.
Essentially.
We would be applying for a grant to do the implementation of this.
So we
project.
probably shouldn't focus trying to get local dollars for that.
Right.
At this
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Then what about the red, the Jefferson Road and?
So that is part of, there's a few projects that are overlapping here. One of them is signal upgrades along here. You can actually, I just noticed this the other day as you're going out, there's a bulletin board right here for project information. So if you want to pull over on the side of the highway and walk over to the middle of
There's
the
a lot of
exit
stuff on
ramp,
that bulletin board.
yeah, like it has, I think, all of the signals maybe that are being upgraded. But it does not include bikes. Now also along this red line is our Jefferson Road corridor project, which is locally funded. And that does expand to include Old Jefferson Road. So that user group is meeting as part of the Prince Avenue user group is transformed into the Prince Avenue / Jefferson Road user group.
Because with the new medical school, this is going to become a really important area, I think, to connect campus and outlying areas. I mean, that there's got to be a good, safe infrastructure to get back and forth, I think.
Yeah, and there's also a GDOT road safety project that is for pedestrian improvement that goes from, the scope is from Pulaski Street to Sunset, I believe. That one, the safety audit was conducted in 2016, I believe. And we're waiting for additional funds to be put towards it because it's kind of hung up in bureaucracy. Right here is Chase Street. This is going to be a multi-use path and 3 roundabouts. So there's a roundabout going in at Anita, and then 1 roundabout at each interchange location. There's divided median for part of this to cut down on traffic from like Row going left. They'll have to go right and around the roundabout to turn around. So yeah, this is also TAP funded, I think from 2018 maybe, previously. Let's see if I have any information. Yeah, it's funded through TAP. I don't have the year. So let's see. We're gonna zoom out. There is a Beach Haven project. It's not guaranteed to build that. It's $5 million. That's SPLOST 2020 project. It could be used to build out the trail system. It might only be used to put in parking lot, or, you know, really the user group is going to figure that out. There's also this roundabout project at West Hancock, which is going to include multi-use path and pedestrian accessibility across Broad Street, which is the #1 request from that community, those neighborhoods. You know, I was talking to Steven today and was asking him what kind of conversation happened there. And yeah, he said there was a user group put together, and the #1 most important thing that everyone agreed on is that they wanted to have safe crossing there. So that's where the roundabout comes into play. There's the Atlanta Highway 2023 project, which basically extends from out here. It may go further.
And then GDOT is putting in a multi-path along some of that where they're doing the bridge work.
Yeah,
right?
GDOT scope would be, I believe it's either from here or it's from here, but it's a multi-use path that goes along the north side and in at Mitchell Bridge Road.
Oh, sweet.
In some cases, the multi-use path becomes a widened sidewalk because limits of right of way. I think maybe it narrows down to 8 feet in a couple spots.
How do we have limits? Anyway.
Is it official that it's going all the way to Mitchell Bridge? I couldn't get a straight answer on that.
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buck Bacon says it is.
Yeah, and then, okay,
And then we've got Timothy. Now, this shows all of Timothy, but this phase 1 is actually going to be, I believe, from roads, yep, up to here. And then I believe, is it on this side of the road?
Yes.
It's on the western side of the road, multi-use path up.
The Skyline.
And the catch there is that wherever it goes to Skyline, which is here, but wherever there are existing sidewalks, those will be retained as sidewalks. So in some cases, you're going to have a 10-foot multi-use path that just kind of goes into a 5-foot sidewalk.
I'll tell you exactly where it is. So Skyline is where the sidewalks that connect Timothy Road to say the Publix and the CVS. That's where they end. And then there's no sidewalk until you get to Towns Walk, which is a sort of dense residential community, pretty far down Timothy. And they have, you know, it's a very short little stretch of sidewalk because the development is long and narrow. But
And it's a swiggly sidewalk. So it goes,
yeah,
So
It's
here's,
interesting.
yeah.
here's our sidewalk inventory. Oh geez, where it should be weird, but
well, you know
So,
what? As
you can
long
see-
as most of the way we can navigate it safely, I'm good.
this is Atlanta Highway here,
Mhm.
it's sidewalk all the way down on both sides. Until here, which is Epps Bridge Road.
Right.
And then from there, it goes down, it cuts off on the northern side, but the south side goes up to here and then cross the street. So I believe, is this a skyline?
I
Probably,
believe
that looks
that's,
like
yeah,
Skyline.
that's Skyline. Mhm.
So the multi-path would connect from here on the south side and it would go and it would plug into the sidewalk here.
There's Towns Walk.
And then it would pick back up here. And then it would go into a crosswalk across here and then go on the south side.
Correct.
So it would cross here and then here, and then we go on the south
Right.
or here and here. I don't know.
How it is.
But it would cross on the south side and it would stop here and I guess the mid block.
Yeah,
crossing
there's some, there's
or-
a bus stop at Rhodes that they are going to be targeting.
It's on that
Yeah, they
side.
may
though.
move the bus stop
So
and then the residential, that big pie slice where that house is, yeah, right, not that one. Yes, that one. That's tricky for designing, but they've worked out some interesting approaches to that. So,
It's not gonna go down to Macon Highway.
Not yet, but you can go through the neighborhood to get down to Macon Highway.
Okay.
you can
mhm.
get off, then you can go zigzag around down the street.
But you
Yeah.
better have an e-bike.
And then
Or
there
a
you
car.
can connect with the section of sidewalk on Macon
The hills,
Yeah, it's vertical.
Highway,
yeah, the hill's vertical.
which I'm guessing this
Wow, yeah,
maybe
what is
it.
that?
I'm thinking maybe it was a bus stop or maybe that's what they're plugging into. This is not a sidewalk, that is a gutter.
Yes.
Macon Highway, there's a bridge replacement planned, I believe, for this one, which is not currently listed in the project. Let me switch back over to the
The
project.
Macon Highway does have a fairly decent buffer on the side, even if it's not a,
Daniel, is there a version of this that we can look at?
This one. Still working on that. I mean, ultimately,
You know, if you can take a screenshot.
yeah, this is the closest thing to like a map of all of our projects that we have. I'm working on refining the data so that I can have it more easily accessible.
Yeah,
But the problem is like not every one of these is one of my projects. So like,
right, yeah.
and sometimes these projects overlap, so it gets a little tricky. So I think the last few to highlight are Palace Road multi-use path, funded through SPLOST 2020, Bridge multi-use path, which I think now we're only funding this first section from Ben
And
Burton
Burton over
to, it doesn't even go this far, it goes up to wherever the sidewalk stops.
yeah, but it's
so.
very wide sidewalk, so it
Yeah.
actually
Yeah, so yeah, it's-
qualifies as a multi-use.
I was trying to figure that out, yeah, so just technically you're a multi-use.
Yeah, it's a very wide sidewalk.
It's a wide sidewalk.
Okay,
I don't know if we can call it multi-path. But what it is it's like a 5 foot or a 6 foot sidewalk with a 2 foot paved buffer beauty strip. So it appears as though it's an 8 foot or 7 foot,
yeah,
7 to 8
it's
foot
quite generous.
path. But,
You could comfortably have a bicycle and a pedestrian.
and luckily there's also not a lot of crossings, like curb cuts on it. So that's kind of the biggest concern with biking on sidewalks is the number of curb cuts. With with Mitchell Bridge Road. See, where are we? That that sidewalk there's basically no curb cuts except for Westchester. It's not signalized, but Westchester where it cuts up, and then the gas station. So all in all, it's a safe area to bike, even though it's a sidewalk.
You know, just linking this discussion that we had about communication and this, it would be nice. I mean, one opportunity would be to have some signs along multi-use paths that say, you know, share bike and pedestrian or something to make it clear that this is for both modes of transportation. And it'd be really nice to have some indication to the drivers not to cut people off on the multi-use path, watch for lights or something, but.
Yeah, I agree with you, Art, and I think I've struggled with this when biking on campus. I'm like, am I biking on a sidewalk or is it?
Yeah, I'm never quite sure myself, and you know, and I'm like up the middle through the pharmacy kind of thing.
And
I think that is legal.
Yeah.
Putting some speed limit signs on the multi-use path.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have them on Firefly Trail and
We do.
Greenway.
Yep, that we
But
do.
other segments, I'm not sure, right?
You'd like the path.
And this particular project is $4 million, so it's not enough
Right.
to build the whole thing. So we can either locally fund a small section of it, or we can use that as matching funds for a larger grant.
Which road is that?
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee, okay, so maybe Athens in Motion can do a Tallahassee T-Splosh? Is that something we would wanna do?
I think ultimately, like, we should hopefully have our full prioritized list. If we want, I would say, if you're looking at capital projects, I would keep it at tier 1 projects for our capital ask. And here's like what it'll cost to do our top 5.
Okay.
You know, that one in particular is the tier 3. So I think it makes sense what we've been doing, which is the major critical corridors. And
Is Vincent on there?
small projects.
Mentioned it.
Vincent is
Yeah.
That's
tier
right.
2. Now it's on the project map up here. So with Vincent, that was a sidewalk project in 2020, and we were anticipating having that question asked of like, well, what would it cost to make that a multi-use path? So we're basically designing it as a multi-use path on the south side of Vincent and a sidewalk on the north side, knowing that we only, like, that would end up, I think that's coming out at around 6.4 million right now. The SPLOST project has 1.1 million, I believe, and somewhere around there. It's around 1 million, maybe 1.5. So that's another situation where either SPLOST, we use that to build just the sidewalk, and then we have future plans that we can apply for, whether it's T-SPLOST or a grant, or, you know, we could use this as matching funds or applying for another project federally.
Who's commissioner over that now? Vincent.
That's gonna be, that's
Fisher?
Tiffany.
No, not
Tiffany
Tiffany.
Johnson would be
Oh.
that one.
Might be.
No, Tiffany was District 2.
Oh, that's not
Yeah,
District 2.
the Stephanie, you mean?
Stephanie, right, sorry, Stephanie Johnson.
How do we get something new added to this list? Is there a mechanism for us to do that?
Which list?
Well, whatever the things that might be considered, the last T-SPLOST, just as I didn't even know that this commission existed at the time, but I applied for a project for agriculture drive going into Brooks Drive, very different nature than what we're describing here. I mean, it's not long and out to places that are not served, but this is just a horrible street for biking and walking and is kind of the entry point to the university, so it
Mhm.
takes there's a lot of use there.
And by the way, these projects that Daniel is showing, these are just high points. We have a whole list. There's like 75 tier 1 projects in the Athens In Motion
Mhm.
plan. That's just the first tier. He's not showing it.
Right,
I
it's
think I am.
possible that what you're talking about is
Are you
somewhere
talking
in the
about-
I
plan.
think so.
I don't know.
Well, real quick,
Doesn't seem like enough.
before I go away, District 9 is over here on the northern side of Vincent. On the south side, you've got District 5 up until halfway. And then the other half is in 6. So Vincent itself is in 3 districts.
Wait, what? Is that
Vincent-
true?
I mean,
Oh, it is.
It's a victim of
Well,
pyramid.
that.
Vincent is in what?
It's
3
in 3
districts.
districts.
Oh, well,
So-
isn't that special?
5, this is Cat. No, Catwood is here. Yeah, so it just kind of goes up behind these houses, I guess, and it's split.
Huh.
Anyways, so, yeah, that's confusing.
Oh, yes.
And not the sidewalk.
I
friendly
wonder who
district.
designed those precincts.
I'll double check. At some point I'll need to like, Lauren, double check this, but this should be every tier 1 project.
Oh,
Now,
right. Oh, I'm talking about what we were looking at a moment ago, with what's in progress.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So, this,
yeah.
this is just and then the last thing. I keep saying last thing. We do have a capital project for improving this intersection, which will add bike lanes. From this point where the blue in to this point. That's the extent of the project. So we will retain Sharrows approaching Sunset Drive. That can be part of another future bike lane gap project. But this area will have bike lanes going through. We will not have bike lanes north-south here until we have that corridor-wide project. But this intersection is really close to complete construction plans, and we can be letting that for construction. So that's
Yay.
hopefully soon. And yeah, I think that the last final thing would be Lexington Road from Barnett Shoals down to Whit Davis is a T-Splosh 2023. The 2018 project is paying for sidewalks from the end of Johnson Drive here. So that GDOT is building a multi-use path from basically the Greenway on the south side up to Barnett Shoals. And then they're building sidewalk from Barnett Shoals to Johnson Drive. And they're adding a lane there. Now from Johnson Drive into Gaines School Road, we have a sidewalk project that will build sidewalk on that whole south side. That is the 2018 project. On the north side, along with some other things, there is a corridor user group for that corridor. I think right now the top recommendation is connecting.
I thought that was a multi-use path though, on the other side.
The plan is to have a multi-use path on the north side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
In 2023, but that isn't going to be fully funded. We have a list of projects
Yeah.
that, where we're only going to be funding a handful. So I think it makes sense that Lexington would be another one that we put forward. And honestly, like, we now have such a good list of projects that need to be done on the corridor that, we could just pull that, if it's not already going to be automatically moved forward. I would prefer that the SPLOST office says, here are our current projects, and the ones slated for continuation. This is the group we suggest funding in 2026, whichever SPLOST it is. So, but if not, those will be there to pick it up. But there is a plan for a multi-path that would basically go from, right now, there's the Firefly connector that kind of comes in over here. That's the top priority to come along O'Kelly Road. And then right here, the new development, and there's a traffic signal here. So that multi-use path would connect from the traffic signal at Atlas Way up to Firefly Trail. And then there would be a multi-use path on the north side from there, all the way down Lexington to Cherokee Road. And then from Cherokee Road, ideally all the way down to Whit Davis, and then plugging into Southeast Clark Park somehow.
Okay, so, all right, so we're like at time. This is a lot to process, a lot to think
Oh, yeah.
about. So, I think that some dates and deadlines are gonna firm up this summer. And we'll have those exactly. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a lot to do these projects. And, we relied heavily on staff, and Daniel is also going to have to serve as, staff advisement for all the other projects that come in. So if there are 200 PFAS projects,
Oh, please.
and then they have something to do with infrastructure related, bikes, curbs, something, Daniel may be pulled in. So what, it's a lot, but we should do it.
Right.
I think what I'd like to do this summer is, you're asking great questions. Look at our list, look at ask the questions about like what's coming up, and see what we want to submit. And be thinking, these are the projects that probably won't be on the ground for another 10 or 15 years. So you kind of have to think ahead. And that's a lot. We got to hold a lot in our brain.
Right.
Where do we find the current projects or a map that we can access?
So I have, that's why I'm asking Daniel about this, but I did just send you all just the link to the list of projects in the plan, which isn't, it's not great, but it's a list of the tier 1 project. Actually, it's all the projects.
Oh, you mean the currently funded projects or the Athens In Motion?
Now, this is just the list of projects from the book.
Yeah, from the book. And
You search ACT Gov SWAP, you can go to the SWAP website, and here's all the programs. When you hover over T-Spot, you'll see there's 2. So there's going to be a 3rd one now. You can go straight to that, and there's a drop down, or you can click on any of these, and there will be a list. So like this will show you the projects. You can see here we got some Firefly Trail, we got some that bridge is that's the one that came in under budget. We've got pedestrian improvements program, bicycle improvements program, Lexington Highway, Atlanta Highway, Prince Avenue corridor, West Broad, that's the thing. 2023 project. This is all the ones there in 2023. Now what I often do, Athens In Motion, ACC Gov, that'll take you to our pedestrian. This is the commission. We never did the public comment.
oh yeah, sorry about that.
Okay.
Let's do that.
We're not in meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
it can be read to,
Cool.
we still have a record.
So right down here, you can see the Athens In Motion master plan, or you can go straight to that web page. From here, you can learn about the project. That'll take you to our construction projects page. Okay.
Great.
Bike Athens Joyride is Friday at 6. Bike Athens Blueberry Rally is.
Where'd he go?
Oh, well. Okay, yeah, it's Friday. The Bike Athens Shore Ride is at 6 p.m. The Blueberry Rally is Saturday at 9 a.m. Forest Heights. Cool. Or I could have read that at the end, I guess.
Is Scott, if you're still there? Scott, if you're still there,
I'm trying to figure it out.
do you have any particular projects that you would like to see funded that are languishing somewhere in the Athens In Motion plan? That's something you want to think about?
Oh, Scott, we can't hear you, darling.
Can't hear you.
That might be a good thing.
That's a long conversation. I'll think about it.
Okay.
All right, enjoy that other meeting.
Aye.
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. Thanks.
Bye.
So, on the Athens In Motion project, you can see this, like the webpage projects. You can comment on, that's our interactive map there, wiki map.
Right.
And then you can go down and you can see, I think there's been a see with a full project list.
Yeah, send that out too.
Yeah,
I have a
so
link to that.
that'll take you to the PDF and you can see all the stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, I know where I can start.
Ask AI assistant. Do I have to?
Away. Can I ask how to make it stop?
Yes. AI assistant, can you go away, please?
All right, so yeah, these are the project IDs and to and from. Don't pay attention to the cost.
Yeah, please don't use the cost.
Yeah, project link. So you can see
Add a
most of
zero
these,
to the end, you're fine.
But
or a couple.
Kind of,
Yeah.
yes.
Most of these are like anywhere from a half mile to 1 or 2 miles. So, yeah, that's now I'll say where with this, I mean, the way that we've done the big bucket before, it basically refers to tier 1 project. So the T-SPLOST 2023 funding is referring to the tier 1 project in the most recently updated Athens In Motion plan. Since we're still working on that, we don't have a tier 1 list, but once we have a tier 1 list, then we'll know where that funding can go to. Beyond that, if there were individual projects that you as a member of the community would prefer to see on there, but it's not a tier 1, then it would be best to find someone else in your community who also agrees that it's a benefit and see if they can apply. I think, you had mentioned street, and it's possible that I can't remember off the top of my head, but that might be a UGA street.
No, it's not, but that's.
Which one?
It's right there. It's highlighted. I mean, we can talk about
This right here?
Yeah, that's that stretch.
So I think it depends on who you talk to. But I know there is some discussion about this section, for instance, with
Yeah,
Southview.
no, they both are under consideration all the time.
Yeah,
They-
UGA said it was theirs and our guys said it was ours. And then they were like, no, it's ours. And so no one maintains it now.
Yeah,
Oh, isn't that good?
but it's like one of the main entrances to campus and
Yeah.
buses both direction, bikes both
I'd
direction.
say we give it to the university.
Now, I think the other thing.
No, we don't want to do that because they don't
They don't do anything?
about it.
I
The
would
other
say
thing
that.
to pay attention to, is all, we've talked about this, but the MTP, the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, that has a project list coming up, that's currently under develop. And that's our 25-year plan for transportation. And that's more looking at cars, but those types of things can also be funded locally, and like aspects of those could be funded locally. So if there's a bike aspect, we could, like, there's a lot of justification to be written into a lot of these things. And just given the conversation tone lately from the mayor and commission, it seems like there's maybe a little more criticism or critique, or like looking closely at all the bike ped projects that are going on. So if we are putting anything forward, we want to make sure that all the data is sound and that we can explain why these are important.
Right.
I think also looking at the 6 programs that we proposed in the fall as really good core starting point. I think the question for us is going to be, we have the safety action plan being developed, and in that we'll have the, as y'all know, the sidewalk gap program and the bike lane gap program being developed, an accessibility program. Are those going to be submissions from Transportation Public Works, or are those going to be would better that those are submissions from Athens In Motion? Because at this point, if we have a written program that's been approved by mayor and commission, if that's a our ownership type thing, then, you know, y'all could actually apply for some other things that you
Mhm.
want to direct. Now that we've got the programs built,
Program's built.
Yeah.
rather than being the kind of the
Okay,
flag bearer.
I'm going to move us along, June.
Well, the only thing I was gonna ask, so it's gonna be important for T-Splosh that we have the tiers identified out of Athens In Motion plan, but how's that timing gonna hit? So we're working on the plan and we have T-Splosh.
Great question.
I mean, parallel would be fine, but.
Yeah, I mean,
So, I mean,
so
how,
it's one of those things where I feel like for the last several months, I've been on the cusp of having consultants do my bidding. I mean, work.
yeah.
But I haven't. So, tomorrow we'll have a scope and then I can discuss that. I have a meeting with Jared on Thursday now.
Yeah.
So hopefully with that being on call, we can get going and then I can just have that going and, I'm gonna plan that schedule accordingly so that in advance of our application deadline, because they're gonna be also, while I'm working on that, they're working on the schedule for applying to the SPOS, T-SPOS. So I'm aiming to have that plan approved, hopefully this fall. Now, that being said, there's also the safety action plan, which I have one round of comments on, but we have a contract that we're working on through legal office. They're also going to be creating stuff for us, and I would also like for some of those things to be done before then, but I don't know if we will.
Yeah, I mean, just like last time, the C-SPOS is sneaking up on us and it's kind of it's a scramble.
The difference is that this time we know 6 months in advance instead of 1 month in advance or 3 weeks.
Oh, no, yeah, we were figuring this out. This is the exact same thing that happened last time. It was before the beginning of summer and my commission were wrapping up the budget and they were in.
But the deadline was.
Choose your people.
Yeah, but the deadline for those submissions was in August.
You're saying that it might be in August anyway. You said it may be fall and not December.
I better do December.
Well, at least we know what we're doing now. I mean, we wrote some really good proposals, I thought.
Yeah.
They got money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it might not, you know, things get weird. Okay, so we're gonna, thank you guys.
Top update.
Yes, Todd, are you still with us for all that?
Thank you, Todd.
I am. Thank you.
Can't hear you very well.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
That's Todd who just said that?
Yeah.
So you can you hear me, Daniel?
We turn
Oh, yeah, just keep talking.
Okay. All right. Well, let me
Yeah,
share
you're
my,
good.
okay. I don't have a ton of updates. We haven't done a lot, but I will share where we're at. So the Firefly Trail, East Broad Street Trailhead. The only thing left on that one is they had to order a part for the water fountain. And
Right.
so the water fountain hopefully will get fixed in a couple of weeks or whatever. And then the utility company is planning to pull this pole out of the middle of the horseshoe. And so they're going to move it down past our entrance. And
Awesome.
so it'll just make it look a little prettier. So
Well, I think it looks lovely.
It's phenomenal.
It's
great
great.
to be able to just ride right onto the side.
Yeah,
Into the bike lane.
I've had no problems
Oh,
getting out into
God.
traffic from there. I've had cars actually stop for me.
Yeah.
They usually
Cool.
stop at the
Huh.
mark anyway, so far so good.
Knock on wood.
So there would be no need for an RFB crossing in public place?
I wouldn't turn down a flashy
Yeah.
right there. I mean, you know, it's what's gonna happen when the students come back in the fall.
Yeah, right.
But you
It's
know,
hard to know if you're on a bike, which one of those 3 lanes is gonna take you to the nice, easy curve
that's a
drop.
good point. Maybe some signage like bike way.
okay,
Do y'all have plans for signage showing where bikes should go?
we can add a sign, and we the wayfinding will be coming, but from the bike lane that we probably need to add something that alerts people where it's at. So I'll put a note about that.
Thank you.
To grab that. Okay, I'll get the rest. And then SPLOST is still working on acquiring construction easements for the Firefly Trail Phase 3. So I don't have anything to report on that one.
How many parcels left?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was in Washington when we had our SPLOST update, so I haven't talked to the SPLOST office about that. So
Okay.
but
Hold your horses, y'all. Be patient.
it's coming. And then the Greenway Trail project, Okokonee Street Bridge. I know the bridge is out to bid, and we're planning to do our trail piece that goes under the bridge late summer probably. So that one's still kind of just hanging out there. The Greenway repaving from the Nature Center down to Sandy Creek. They are just about wrapped up the construction bid documents, and that one should go out to bid for construction fairly soon, in the next month or two. Or, well, probably the next month is probably more like when it'll go out to bid. So it's just mostly, addressing this entrance, making it a little bit nicer, and repaving the surface of the roadway is the major goals of that project. So
Is there a plan to update the bike racks there? Or should that be on our bike rack project?
There you go. We own the land.
I did
And
ask.
good job, Heather.
I think I'm pretty positive the project is over budget. So bike racks probably will not be updated. We may have to find some funding for it if we do it with capital money or something. We haven't got there yet, but I did ask.
Might be able to help. Yeah, we have a bike rack program that we're looking to install bike racks around Athens. One of those options could be installing bike racks in leisure services facilities. I think ideally, as part of a capital project, you would have that kind of wrapped in, but if all else fails, we could replace them as part of that.
Yeah. So that'll be great. So, but yeah, the initial set of plans, we're not upgrading them. So, but that's
As long as this is done by fall, that'll be great. So that it always terrifies me when the leaves are on that and I forget where the potholes are.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there gonna be, as part of this, is there gonna be like a separation of like car versus bike?
Yeah.
no.
Are y'all pouring like a concrete portion of the trail, or it's just all just asphalt and no striping?
The front piece up to the gate or whatever, that existing gate, that area will be concrete, and then it'll transition to asphalt, and it'll have a centerline stripe, and I believe it has 3 speed tables in it to slow any kind of vehicular traffic that they do have going down there to Walker Hall down. So
Concrete or rubberized?
they're integrated
Asphalt.
fall with the yes, because one of them, they have the trail. It's right near, well, there's 3 of them, so I won't try to explain where all 3 of them are, but it's the standard concrete. It's almost like what, a curb, Daniel, and then it's paved with asphalt, or is that how it works on the speed tables? Kind of like the ones on boulevard out here.
Yeah, I think generally they do like, I've seen it where they do like a row of granite cobblestone and
Yeah.
then asphalt between it and then asphalt down. You know, they're not terrible to ride over on your bike. I think if you're talking about through an area that's mostly gonna be closed, I think it's gonna be more of an impact to cyclists
Yeah.
than like vehicles. Cause I don't know how often that would be open. Also, I know like one of the major concerns that I've heard from biking standpoint is that gate basically limits it down to like 5 feet where you have to kind of thread the needle on your bike, because having that gate cross the whole thing, it's pretty difficult on a bike at that existing gate. You've got basically that small bollard.
I agree, but staff is adamant to keep the gate.
Yeah, I'm not sure that vehicles are even an issue right there. It's just like
Yeah.
maintenance vehicles or something, or
If it's just, I mean, if it's just maintenance vehicles, I don't
And
know.
they
I'd
have
like to
events.
see-
They occasionally have events at Walker, so
Yeah, and I mean, that's fine. I don't think anyone's flying through there. But I'd love to see like an archway, dragonflies all over it,
well,
and just be more obvious that it's the greenway.
well, it's gonna have the Boulevard Woods curved walls with granite and that kind of stuff in the column. And I think this box is either going away or it's going to be hidden. This utility box. So it's going to be definite. You're going to be able to tell it's Greenway. And then I believe as part of the art, we're talking about doing the gate having some art. Basically, well, I think the goal is to potentially like have artists design it on paper, and then it would be given to a company to laser cut that piece of art, and it would be applied to that gate that we put there. So it'll be a little nicer.
Is there a user group for this?
For
The Splosh project.
no,
People.
it's no, not a citizen one. No, because it's a repaving. Derek, I forgot the exact terminology, but that's the way Splosh is handling it.
So it's being handled internally through staff.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out like, because I have a feeling that like, I mean, we mentioned that like the gate would not be preferred. Do you think it would hurt or help to have a letter from Athens In Motion advocating for like more, like not having a gate there?
You can argue with staff, so if you want to.
Yeah.
Is the gate that one post that sticks up in the middle? Is that what you're talking about?
Can you zoom in on that top right corner? Todd?
Yeah, the gate, sorry, let me get out of the.
but out of all of the problem areas in town with cars, this is not one of them. This is a great area.
If
Like,
it's the post sticking up, I've got issues with those in general.
No, this is more of a whole
Yeah.
gate. It's not a bollard.
Yeah, we're getting
Okay.
a little in the weeds on this.
Okay.
We're getting a little in the woods.
Sounds like I'm the only one who cares, but
no,
there is.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so the gate's
Basically-
open at this point. It's right here.
Yeah.
And
So
that's.
this whole area gets closed off, and then you have this amount of space to
Oh.
bike through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Even I could do that and I don't have very good balance.
You know, okay, yeah, I'd
They
like it to
did.
be bigger.
I believe in the construction, they are widening this, so they are making a bow a little right here to make this a little wider than it presently is.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's, have they also discussed with, and maybe we just have an offline conversation, but,
Mhm.
have they talked to our paving contractor? Probably not.
I don't know.
There's some cost savings that can be done if we get it into our repaving contract.
Okay.
Um,
No, then, no, Derek is, as far as I know, he's not done it that way. He's going out to bid with it, so.
Give me a call tomorrow.
Okay. All right, well, we'll stop sharing.
Okay. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
No problem.
Yeah, we're pretty close to time. And I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Julie, do you have to go right at 6?
I'll have to head out in just a minute. Yeah.
Okay, Julie, I'd like to go ahead and move you to the front to give a report back on Marigold, since you put that together.
Yeah, for sure. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so first of all, thanks everybody who came out to Marigold. Daniel, especially, thanks for hanging out like all day pretty much on a Saturday. I had to leave like right at 11 to go to another event that I had scheduled. But I mean, I think what I saw, we gave out a lot of vests. I think, most of the educational materials that we brought were pretty much passed out almost by 11. And we had this little kind of arts and crafts activity that seemed, to be enjoyable to the kids and everything. So from what I saw, it looked like it went well. But for those of y'all who were here or there kind of later in the afternoon, any thoughts or any feedback or anything?
I loved the little craft project. That was really great. And the children loved it, the parents loved it, and it was a real icebreaker. So thumbs up on that. Yeah, I would just say that we need to get more of those little books from Bike Athens, and if we need to pay for printing them, can we, next meeting when we have quorum, can we, or whatever, can we get some funding to pay for more of those little books, because they're
I
very
don't
popular.
think they need to have them paid for.
What?
I'm pretty sure I have boxes of them.
Yeah.
Oh, you
I
do?
think they're from Georgia Pike.
Okay.
And then they're being stored
Alright.
at Pike Athens.
Yeah, because yeah, we need to restock on those. Yeah, and then
Great.
the mistake that was made was not bringing enough of the vest.
Oh, they were so popular.
They
I
weren't
think
so
I brought it
popular.
up. I think that it's just
I think to bring them all, if you can bring them all, bring them all. And then that way you don't have to go back to the storage closet.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to get as busy as it did once it hit like 11 o'clock. So I was kind of worried about that. But I think it gives us a lot of really great insight for our next event. And I think kind of what I was going off of earlier, I think it'll be cool for us to come together at our next meeting tomorrow, which will be at 5 o'clock in the room that y'all are in, to really kind of focus on, what is happening currently that we can talk with folks about, and kind of have this like message that we're really trying to hit with them, because I think that could be helpful. Though I do recognize it is pretty hard when we're at an event where there is a lot of people coming up pretty quickly and trying to get to the next place.
Yeah, I mean, that was what was so great about your kids' activity, Julie, is like, I never expected like, they're gonna actually sit and do the activity, but I was surprised by how many did.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Oh, they loved
And then
it.
you just talk to their parents.
Right.
They're like,
Yeah.
"So are you-"
Right.
So I love that, and that's something was totally new that we had never tried before. So thank you for putting especially that together. And this was definitely, I think, our longest tabling we've ever done. And Julie, I know you and your partner were out there between 5 and 7 a.m. So major kudos to you.
Yeah.
Thanks for and y'all showing up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
absolutely.
was great. Great
Thanks,
team
y'all.
effort.
Yeah, y'all are awesome. Definitely would not have happened without all of y'all volunteering and Daniel, dedicating a lot of time to supporting us. So I really appreciate it. And like I said, we'll have our next meeting tomorrow at 5. So if y'all are interested in talking about future outreach efforts, definitely make sure to come by, or keep an eye out for an email for the agenda that we share.
Can you get that agenda to me ASAP? It's at 5 to 6:30.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
I'll be
Cool.
there.
Yeah, I'll send that to you.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll tentatively, I'll try and make that so we can. Yeah, unless you want to save talking about a campus for another meeting since you already have an agenda.
We can throw it in there. I don't have a ton to fill an entire hour
Okay.
and a half, so we can definitely talk about that if you're able to make it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Great, okay, so, thank you, and then, I'm gonna pivot back to staff, to Katie and Daniel. We spent a lot of time talking today. Is there anything that any high points that you want to hit? And if anyone needs to go, that's fine. We'll just, maybe, I'm gonna allocate another 9 minutes, up to 9 minutes. So anyone can leave at any point, because I know we started late.
I had a couple public comments
Yes, please
that were
share those.
submitted. Find them. Katie, do you have any updates while I'm looking for those?
No, I don't think I do actually. Oh, I think
Oh.
actually someone put me in touch with the some safe routes to school and sustainability folks at the public schools. I think yes, some Athens In Motion people might have mentioned that to me too. So that I'll be making those connections.
Great.
All right, one of the messages, I'm just gonna read it. My name is Matthew. I live in East Athens. I was just out cycling this evening on Riverbend Road near the intersection with Millage Avenue, where the train track crosses Riverbend Road, and I took a tumble off my road bike. I'm okay, it's just scraped up, but the spacing right now between the railroad track and the wood buffer surrounding the track and the road itself is creating a hazard for cyclists like myself. The spaces I'm referring to, circled in the pictures, is large enough to force a front wheel to turn and try to sink into the space, which is what threw me off my bike this evening. I've gotten lucky before and crossed those chasms, but I'm realizing that with skinny city tires, it's just been luck that has prevented this from happening before. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Could the spaces be filled in and perhaps a sign posted particularly warning cyclists to consider dismounting to cross these tracks? I'd really like to prevent this from happening again to someone else. Let me know if I can provide further details. Thank you.
That is a bad, the angle is not
Yeah.
good right there. It's not perpendicular,
And
Riverbend Road,
near Millage.
yeah.
I know exactly
Yeah,
where it
yeah.
is.
Yep. But,
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, the angle is awful.
so this is one of our Athens In Motion projects, and this is the spot that is holding up progress on that because it's requiring an extra level of coordination. It's a decommissioned rail line that UGA has purchased. So we're working to hopefully just put in our path, and then when UGA builds whatever it is that they're gonna build along that corridor, they can cross the road, but I think there's just some coordination that's required.
Are you sharing this?
Oh, no, I'm not.
You probably don't want
If
to share the
you
guy's
okay.
email address anyway.
Well, it's public record now.
So this is the location in Riverbend Road. This is the map, and that's the tracks.
I hate that stretch right there in general. It's not good for biking. It's not good for walking or running.
Not
No
even great
room.
for driving.
The cars go pretty fast right there too. That's my least favorite part.
Yeah, this road, what is it good for? Absolutely.
I believe
You had another one?
it did. I need to find it. I think
Oh,
I
we
think
did.
I forwarded it to myself.
Hope it's not about golf carts.
Well, Claude is always very polite, even when he's complaining.
Okay. I was on Prince Avenue biking the section west of the loop entrance, and I was on a section of road that there there's no bike lane whatsoever. And there's a rumble strip on the white line. I'm gonna actually pull up a map. Cause I think I have looked at this spot and I'm sure you are all also aware of this. If I can get to the map. Okay. So I believe we are talking, okay, so this is on Prince New, west of the Loop entrance. So I do believe, let's see.
The biking towards or the biking
Yeah, they were biking.
into town?
So I think it was in town, but I need to double check. It might have been out of. Let's see. Biking the section west of the Loop entrance, and I was on a section of road that there was no bike lane, and there's a rumble strip on the white line. I was staying as far to the right as possible, but couldn't ride the white line because of the rumble strip. And a semi truck passed me with far too little space, and it was incredibly scary. I had to swerve onto the rumble strip and slightly to the right, but then the road just drops off right there, and there's a bunch of large rocks, and then it dropped, so I almost fell. So I'm thinking this might have been.
That looked like rumble
Yeah,
strips
going
right
out.
there, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's maybe.
West of the loop. So we're west
So
of
that's
the
west
How-
of the loop.
How far west? I might follow up with some more details. It might be, I don't know if like the rumble strips have been added back in. Let's see, west.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder.
Okay, so I guess the gist of it is they didn't have anywhere to go and they were kind of run off the road.
Yeah, so,
Hmm.
it would be great if one, drivers would maintain a safe distance, but two, if there was at least a shoulder large enough for a bike to fit. This would be great at a bare minimum, but of course, a safe bike lane would be even better.
Yeah.
If
We
we
agree.
could find some way to get in some project that solved this problem of crossing of Prince and Jefferson Road, crossing the loop, we would be, let me see, memorialized forever.
We could
Bike
be
biking
heroes
week.
just for one day.
For one project.
Well, I have to say, still, again, that this medical school, I mean, that's happening now. Their ground is broken, I think, and,
Yeah,
so I think that this is like super high priority for so many more people out there.
Right.
I
I agree with you.
Medical campus, it's a whole new.
Yeah.
This is,
On the health science campus, they're opening a
Just right
medical
down
school.
the street on Prince from here.
yeah, this is
Okay.
GDOT, and I think that there's room. So this would be a coordination with GDOT.
You know, there's also, that old Jefferson Road, which is parallel to the railroad tracks, you know, kind of over to the right there. Isn't there gonna be some kind of connection there to get that under the loop or around or somehow over the loop or
If
something
only-
like that? I mean, is that part of somebody's plan or vision somewhere?
The thing is, that property like runs parallel to the country club.
Yeah, I know.
So we're either crossing the loop or crossing
My
the
gosh.
railroad,
Or
unless
both.
we go under. Anyway, okay, that's in the weed, sorry.
I think as part of the Greenway Network plan, there's a, I can show you there.
Can you email that to us? Cause I think that that's a great thing to be aware of.
Sure.
Yeah,
But Daniel, were there any other comments?
those are the two that I've received.
So Daniel's gonna start, you know, like we have the crash report going for a while. And the monthly crash reports are on their way to coming back. And Daniel's gonna start sharing these things called near misses.
Oh, good.
So these are things where police were not called. So I guess I wanna tell people like, okay, if you're injured or something, or you think you'll call the police, it's okay. You know, someone, you know, hit and run, if you are able to, or you see someone get hit and run, call the police. if you find that you did not call the police, did not call an ambulance, you fell over something, you're okay, you want to make a record of it, email daniel.sizemore@accc.gov. So y'all can tell people to do that and then it becomes public record.
Yeah, and I mean, basically, you know, we've been kind of doing public comments as like if someone shows up in person or submits public comment through the website, but more often than not, I'm getting emails directly because that's the most accessible thing.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that, like I've talked to Steven and he's like, yeah, that should count as public comment. So, you know, just to enter those into the record so that we remember why we're doing what we're doing. You know, you hear about the close calls, you really hear about all the, you know, the fatalities and like each and every one being preventable. You know, but then knowing like the close calls that are happening, like that's an important thing for us to take into account too, because
Yeah, we used to, where I worked, we tracked the close calls as much as anything because there was it was like every 73 close calls turned into an accident. Yeah.
Pretty good indicator.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you see your friends posting on Facebook like that, they had a near miss or something like that, tell them, take this message that you have, copy and paste it and send it in an email.
yeah.
Or even step on Reddit, be like, hey, copy and paste, put it in.
I had somebody reach out to me and just mention that they had submitted a comment to Athens in Motion this month. They didn't say how they submitted it, but
Okay.
said they submitted a comment to AIM and to Greenway.
Do you know their name?
Let.
Okay, I do believe I saw that. There's a third comment. I saw Claude.
CLAUDE.
Is it Claude Johnson? Okay, Claude Let.
Let's.
So I need to double check if Claude reported it through our website. I didn't receive that comment. I did get it from the Greenway Commission though. So,
But I'm not sure it's the same comment.
okay. There's one. Okay.
While Daniel is doing that, any other committee corridor update, EGA?
Nope. We had a T-Sloth meeting and there was like 750,000 for upgrading and improving signage, replacing signage for signs that are out of date or broken or don't have enough reflectivity, and it met the criteria, but it's also, they mentioned that they need about $1 million a year for the next 10 years to get our signage vaguely up to where it is, and so
The street sign.
street signs. So we're giving them 750,000 and hoping that the mayor and commission make up the, because I don't believe they're getting anywhere near $1 million from them.
Is that all street signs, like stop signs, yield signs, or is that only street name signs?
That's all signs. They would be starting with the regulatory signs. I say an average sign has about a 10-year life expectancy, and we've got some that are 30, 40, 50 years out.
Yeah, it's, I was on a trip this weekend and the street signs there were just, they almost felt pedestrian scale. Like they were on this small post that was so far from the street, you couldn't see it. And they were like maybe this big. And I was like,
no reflective.
Is that, yeah, no reflective. I was like, is that UTC compliant? And I was just like, okay, Daniel, it's not working. So, I did find that letter. And this is assuming that they wrote the same email to both the commission. This one, so I'm gonna get past the part that talks about the Greenway. I'm ready to advocate for a specific project that, although outside of the current Greenway plan, would significantly enhance safety and accessibility for many users, including myself. A bridge that crosses the middle of Coney River where Atlanta Highway and West Broad Street meet poses a significant safety barrier for pedestrians and cyclists trying to access the greenway. This bridge is a crucial crossing point, but it currently lacks a safe pedestrian walkway, making it a daunting and potentially dangerous part of the journey. I propose the installation of the Zikla zipper system on the bridge's walkways. The Zikla zipper system is a quick and efficient solution that can dramatically improve safety for pedestrians and cyclists. By creating a protected walkway, it would ensure a safe and comfortable crossing, thereby encouraging more residents to access and enjoy the greenway. The system has been successfully implemented in various urban environments, offering a cost-effective and immediate improvement to pedestrian infrastructure.
So is this the thing that's right up at the top of the greenway where it hits Broad? Or it crosses over to MLK?
I thought for the middle of Coney, like Atlanta.
I read this as
along-
middle of county, almost like where Beach Haven is.
Yeah,
So I'm not sure,
Where's the Greenway?
Yeah.
it's where the Beach Haven Greenway, I guess,
there's not a current
Is there a
greenway there.
going.
No.
There's not a current greenway trail at that location.
That's right.
So this is more of a transportation
Yeah,
thing.
so you may have crafted it differently to the Athens in
Because
Motion.
that point actually right by Weaver D's is actually not the easiest crossing point either. I thought that was.
Yeah,
what-
no,
Yeah, no,
I'm
that's
pretty
okay.
sure that he's talking about.
Yeah,
The-
I'll show.
there's a bridge over the river
Yeah,
where lots of people are walking on the
Yeah,
side of the
on the-
road.
I mean, the road doesn't, the vehicular traffic, if you're on your bike going up the greenway.
yeah, a lot of them are from the Sagamore Road area. and
Sycamore.
Sycamore,
Sycamore.
thank you.
So this, we're looking at from the greenway.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I'm talking about.
so this is the greenway plan, but this bridge is the one I believe that he's talking about, where
Right.
Atlanta Highway meets West Broad Street.
Okay.
There's a shoulder on either side that's,
Wide,
wide, but it
Unsafe.
doesn't have any real separation, so it's kind of, even though, it's relatively safe, it's not very pleasant.
6 lanes with a.
Yeah.
And I can attest, I drove, a friend of mine lives near here and I've driven through here at night. And I think one night is around 10:30 and between the gas station, basically from the racetrack up here, there was 2 people walking down the sidewalk over there. There was 3 people walking in the turn lane. There was a person biking in the turn lane, against traffic.
Right.
Then there was
Mhm.
3 people walking here along the bridge. And then there was someone right up here near the Hojo with a walker who was also trying to navigate this. And
Right.
this was all just in
This is all
like
the
a
time,
1-minute driving where I'm like paying attention to the road, but noticing a lot of pedestrian activity, which is kind of surprising.
Why do we need 3 lanes of traffic right
Well,
there? Each direction?
Hello, road diet.
We don't. And DDOT is aware.
Yeah.
So,
That's great.
yeah, there is a road safety audit that was conducted along here, and there's a potential partnership with GDOT where we would, but part of that, we're still waiting to hear back. There's essentially you have to meet a certain benefit cost ratio, for them to have cost sharing. They have to get a certain BC ratio to have the project move forward in prioritization, but we can contribute towards the cost to reduce that cost to balance out that BC. All that to say that
Yeah,
potentially there's something.
can you send some updates to Claude about, like, first of all, yeah, absolutely agree, this sucks and what's underway. And also that we put in a project in the Athens In Motion Commission to improve facilities along this corridor, just let him know, like, yes, we hear you, and yeah, we're gonna do something with this, and it's a GDOT road.
I take that frequently as well and almost always say hi to at least 3 people before I get across the bridge.
Yeah,
Well,
much needed. Also, I appreciate this because, I was talking about projects that like Athens In Motion has to advocate for because no one else will, but here's an example
Right.
of
Yeah.
someone being like, yo, what's up?
Mhm.
And there's no other way to cross.
Nope.
No, there isn't. There's not a parallel road or anything.
There's nothing over there.
3
Yeah,
options
okay.
to get from
We,
the
I'm
station.
so sorry, y'all. I'm sorry we got started late. I apologize that we're over. Y'all are gonna fire me.
No, we're not gonna
Yeah,
fire.
yeah,
her.
We're just gonna dock
We're gonna dock your pay.
dock your pay.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't even need a motion to adjourn,
no,
right?
we
'Cause-
can't,
'cause we
right?
don't have a
We're
meeting.
gonna keep.
Okay.
So thank you all. Thank you, Katie, for hanging in there with us.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Todd.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Everyone have a good night. I need to fix my
you.
tires. Bye.
There you go. Oh, you got
Any
it.
help?
No, I just need to put it back on right.
Oh, okay.
What question, Dave?
Well,